Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Dr. Grand Venerable joining us, our professional of the year. Always a pleasure having him back here and excited to talk to him today. First and foremost, how was the week? What's new and exciting? Fill us in.
Getting closer to moving to the place under renovation
Yeah.
so I can get my life settled.
How does it feel, though? It's getting
But
close, right? Are you all packed up yet or what?
Progress is being made.
That's important. Same here with my flood, the packing of the boxes. It's a slow process, but we're going to get through it together. Yes, it'll happen.
Yes. Yes. Now I'm trying to get this screen back. Jeez. I can't touch anything on this PC without losing the image. Jeez. That's not what I want.
I see you. We are side by side. I know
Okay.
sometimes this happens and you can't see,
Okay,
but for recording
you
purposes,
can
we are
see
good.
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
My wire's a little glitchy. Since you're
I'm trying
troubleshooting,
to
let me
get
troubleshoot.
my image back.
Oh, okay. I see you.
Yeah,
You're looking good in your shirt.
thank you. You want to put out a phone number at the start
That's a
here?
great idea. 631-307-4010. 631-307-4010. That's a great way to do it. Let's start that. You can fix your camera. I'm going to see why this isn't
Okay.
working either. I got an issue with, let's see. Hold on. While you can troubleshoot your screen, I'm going to troubleshoot my light. I don't know why the USB isn't
Okay.
working. You tell me when you're ready. I'm here. I'll stop
Okay.
messing around. Can you see me? Can you see you now?
Uh, let's see. I haven't got you up here yet. So I'm gonna
Oh, okay.
there. That did it. Okay. Um, this is gonna be a going from the hip. I'm winging this in a way, but I think that's going to be more significant because I just finished looking at some news feeds on the internet, and one of them contained a Facebook message from a childhood friend that I went to the same elementary school with, who's in her early 80s, and it was about a woman in her early 70s in Indiana who is combating loneliness from recently losing a husband. And what she discovered was a youngster about 11 who was rummaging through her garbage can for food. That inspired her to find an old cabinet that was in her kitchen. She fixed up, cleaned it up, stocked it with some basic items that people might need who are passing by, and put a sign on it, help yourself, and also feel free to put anything else in there that you think others could use. And that started a whole new current of
Okay.
existence for her. And more people stopped by to pick up little food items and other necessities of life. And even one note that said, "Thank you for trying." So it came to be quite a big deal. So big that the county representative came by and said, "You can't do this." And she said, "It isn't like I'm doing something wrong here. There's a lot of need out there, and I'm just trying to help the community." It all worked out because even after they levied fines against this woman for having this obstruction apparently in her front yard, um, people began leaving envelopes of money to help her pay the fines. And
Aww.
and ultimately it it came to a new equilibrium, a new balance for the whole neighborhood. Other neighbors started to do the same thing. And I realized after I read this just a couple of hours ago, this is also happening right in this country.
Wow.
just at the time we might feel most anxiety about things that we read about on the news feeds. And so I wanted to zip through that a minute and just make some salient comments. And so I'm going to click here, and here's the first one
Sure.
about Representative Swalwell from California reacts to uh, uh, FBI Director Patel. Uh, he's pushing Patel to release Epstein files and all that. And then my statement is, if that doesn't involve you, my fellow viewers, listeners, don't read it. Just
Uh-huh.
keep going. Keep going. And then here's one. Immigration lawyer in California. Start now, pay over time. So I'm moving on. But
Yeah.
these are being what you see there is determined by artificial intelligence software based upon what they think you're interested in, what the AI thinks. And but it doesn't always hit the mark. And here it is, Dawn Staley told not to interact with March Madness fans by NCAA. I don't know what that's about. So I
Yeah.
say, I'm not involved. I move on to another one. Uh, Female plane passengers photo sitting in middle seat between two men sparks viral debate.
What?
Does that involve me? No. So I move on. Uh, then here's another one. American celebrities who are of Caribbean descent. Well, sounds interesting. I might read it sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Then another one, Judge Faith, hilarious moments with a comedian in court. Sounds interesting. And another one, Trump moves closer to Russia. Then Iran strike hits his plan fast. I said, well, that doesn't involve me, so I move on. What Trump's proposal could mean for the 14th Amendment. Okay, maybe I'll read that sometime. And then another one about payment plans by an immigration lawyer. Then another one, Paul McCartney's onstage Trump jibe sparks booze during star-studded LA gig. Well, of course, I live here just above the LA basin in the high desert, but that doesn't concern me, so I keep moving. Now, I'm making that point because we get drawn off
Mm-hmm.
course, the course of our lives. Even I do. And I've had to develop a sterner discipline about what I expose myself to, um, and just let it go. And
Yeah.
it's remarkable how it keeps the anxiety level down. And so I'm doing that more and more. And when I see happy things, that concerns me in a relevant way. Um, and that's about it for that news feed. So then I'll get back here to the where I belong. Um,
You're cute. Where you belong. Come on.
let's see here. Let's see if I can jump back in. Well, there's some other things anyway I need to get into. Um, but you can see me and everyone can see me. And I'm shifting to a screen that says the title of a book, The Paradox of the Silicon Savior, Charting the Reformation of the High-Tech Superstate. So can you hear that, Jill?
Yeah. Super state.
That's the title of one of my first books, and it was released in 1988. So it's been out there for over 38 years, just almost exactly 38 years. But I thought it would be real interesting to read the synopsis
Sure.
of it, because that's where I want to wind up. Um, in the remaining years of a soon to be concluded 20th century, because this book was released in 1988, but this 20th century will be remembered for a record-shattering uh, scientific development We face unique challenges. The paradox of the Silicon Savior chronicles those challenges in a stunning yet sensitive appraisal of America's high-tech superculture, its myths and realities,
Yeah.
the breakdown of the family, disease, the role of the arts, management, technology, education, and sexuality in the modern age. This leading edge masterpiece
Mm-hmm.
is doing for civilization and culture what the book Gödel, Escher, and Bach did for science and technology. Its author is California scientist and artist Grant Venerable. Why, that's me.
Ah, that's you.
He's one of the new breed of high tech interdisciplinary thinkers. His literary output range over such
Mm-hmm.
varied terrain as the natural sciences, the arts, and humanities, management, men's studies, and the nature of the learning process.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of my friends, after they read that, why are you talking about men's studies? Why aren't you talking about women's studies? And I
You
said,
talk about
actually, that's
everything. That's
why,
great.
because the women have really gone the direction they need to go to advance the well being of women. But men have not caught up to that yet, particularly not in the 1980s. And I was with some men's groups that were really sensitizing me to that fact. So a lot more is happening on that these days. Okay, now I'm gonna skip again to the next one. This is another book that was released about 11 years after The Paradox of the Silicon Savior. But I was further along in my Silicon Valley activities with these and the uh, ways that things were managed and how I thought they could be managed better. So I reached back into the Paradox book and introduced a model.
Oh,
And the
hold
book
on.
title
We got a call. Hold
is
on one
Managing.
second. Hello, hello. Hi, welcome to the show.
Good.
What's your name?
My name is Peter.
Hey, Peter. How you doing today?
All right, how are you?
Great, great. We are joined here live. Just to let you know, we're live on the radio with Dr. Grant Venerable, and he is just such an awesome soul. We've known him for so many months, and the man of many of everything. He's writing his memoirs now, chemist, author, artist, and he speaks each and every week about something totally different and unique. So you can ask him any question. Obviously, you've been listening. Anything that you want to kind of pick his brain with, Peter?
Yes, being with everything that's happening in the world today, Doc, I was just wondering, being with your chemist background, do you think the future is still could be electric cars, or do you think long term is
Oh,
not the answer, or with surging gas prices,
now
I
do you
expect
mean electric
interest to
cars
go
or
back up again?
electric cars that are self-driven?
Self-driven.
Well, electric cars are still the thing of the future, and they
Okay.
are coming about, and the infrastructure that makes them practical to have so that you can recharge the car battery at regular intervals. And that infrastructure isn't quite complete yet. But where it
What about
is in
battery
some,
life? What about
uh,
the life of the battery?
pardon, the life of the battery, I'm more robust about that because chemical developments are being made annually as we
Hmm.
speak. And so the capacity of the batteries are increasing dramatically. So that I don't have as much concern about. But
Okay.
it, that, in fact, is my background in research from high school days when I
Good.
purchased my own silicon cells, solar cells, when I was in the 11th grade to do a science project. So, and that really guided me to study electrochemistry and electronic radiochemistry in graduate school and do some practical projects with. So all of
What
that
about
kind of thing
hydrogen?
where
Is
you
there any
use
future for hydrogen?
radiation,
Oh, hold on. I heard another question.
hydrogen
Wait, hold on. I'm
cars
sorry.
or hydrogen
Hold.
power.
Oh, hold on 1 second. What did you say, Peter?
Is there any future for hydrogen
Any future for hydrogen?
in
In
empowering automobiles?
Yes,
empowering
because
automobiles. Yes, he says. Go ahead. Go ahead.
because because the way we get hydrogen is improving every day, and it's being obtained more cheaply, especially in California, where people will be able to have hydrogen tanks or liquid hydrogen for their vehicles and operate on hydrogen. So,
California seems to be a little bit ahead of the curve as far as the rest of the country. Is that because government is pushing it that way? Like I know Gavin Newsom,
well,
governor, he's thinking about running for president. Is that being
right.
pushed in that direction because you have so many cars on the road in California?
Well, well, yes. Frankly, yes. Uh, California is an interesting country. I'll put it like that, in that there's many things that are propelling us in favor of things like new technologies. And I only live 140, 120 miles from some of the great universities that are in the forefront of that, like University of California, Irvine, San Diego, UCLA, Caltech, Cal Poly, Pomona, UC Riverside. Those institutions are zeroing in on exactly the things you're talking about. And so it's an exciting place to live. Now, that said, it's not a perfect uh, place out here, but it's making great progress because the balance of forces is driving us toward innovation, and
Gotcha.
that's what keeps it going. We sometimes stumble and have a big forest fire, and even that is driving things forward. People get mad at the mayor. People get mad at things that are irrelevant to get mad at, instead of encouraging our politicians to do the right thing and make suggestions. So, next question. You had another
I
question?
appreciate all your time today.
Aw. Do you have
Thank you so much.
any
Surely,
more
glad
questions,
to
Peter?
be of service.
No, that's it. Oh, one more.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Professor,
Professor, go
a
ahead.
Giant or a Dodger fan?
Did you hear
You
that?
said
He's
you're a
asking if you
Dodger
were a
fan.
giant or a Dodger fan. He wants to know.
Well, I'm from way back. I grew up in Los Angeles when the Dodgers first came to Los Angeles from Brooklyn. But so I'm a Dodger fan from based upon my childhood development. So yes.
That's wonderful. So am I. I was born in Brooklyn.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Have a
All
great
right.
See,
day.
Thank you
Jackie
so
Robinson
much.
of
Jackie
the
Robinson.
Dodgers,
Oh, here we go,
when he moved
Dodgers.
from Georgia to Los Angeles back in the 30s, I think he came here.
He went to UCLA.
He
He
married a
attended
girl that lived
UCLA.
across the street, grew up across the
Oh.
street from my aunt and uncle.
Oh, wow.
So Jackie Robinson was well known by the community and my family. So when he came to the Dodgers after leaving LA, he became quite a famous achiever.
Yes, he did. He broke a lot of barriers.
So
Mm-hmm.
he did, and his
Thank you
wife
for
is
your time,
still
Professor.
breaking
Thank you.
barriers. She's about 102 years old.
Wow.
Yes, his
Yeah.
wife, I believe,
So
is still alive.
his wife, Rachel
Yes.
Robinson. Um,
Thanks,
yeah,
Doctor.
there's a lot of
Nice talking.
stories behind that. You're welcome.
All right.
You're
Bye, Peter.
welcome.
Go ahead. Keep continuing. Go, go, go. Lines are open 631-707. No, that's my cell phone number. 631-307-4010. You can call my cell. 631-307-4010. Thanks so much. All right. Now where do we leave off? I don't remember.
Well, while I was in, we left off, I was going into a new book title called Managing a Five-Dimension Economy, subtitled Venn Matrix Architectures for New Organizations. And that was developed out of experiences I had as a systems scientist in Silicon Valley industry in the early to late 1980s. And I was able to develop a theory of management derived from some of the other theories of management. I mean, we had theories like theory X, Y, Z, and things like that. Tom, let's see, what was Tom's name? He was one of the main writers on that. Uh, but the volume I wrote offers a unique approach to understanding and managing today's organizations as they are governed by mathematical and scientific systems that underlie evolutionary biology. And just a minute, I've got to, that was a call coming in. I'll just return that later. Um, Evolutionary biology is that biological study of how did living organisms come about on planet Earth. And so some of the theories have them coming, these little cells, the first cells on Earth, may have come from the Oort belt, from meteors that would leave the Oort belt and land as far away as Earth. And some of the little cellular life and the bioorganic organisms would come off of that and spawn new life on planet Earth. Well, given that all of that is based upon principles of chemistry and physics and mathematics, it stands to reason, I thought, as the author of this book, that if we based our organization structures and management on these biological systems,
Stand by. We have
we
another
would
caller.
find
Hold on.
something.
Hello. Hi. Welcome to the show. Who's this?
Hello, how are you? This is Justin. How are you?
Good. Hey, Justin. Thanks so much for being here with Dr. Grant Venerable. And just to let you know, you were live on the air. Justin, what would you like to ask our man of the hour?
Yes. How's the weather in your area?
California, he's in. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he's in California. How's the weather in California?
Yeah, how's the
First of
weather
all.
going? First question. What do you got? Grant?
Yeah, do you mean area of chemistry or area of
Oh,
geography?
geography or chemistry wise, that's a great one.
Wow. Chemistry-wise and
Well, chemistry,
and geography-wise.
I'll tell you geographically, and the history of the state made it inevitable that California's people would be positioned as the top people in developing science and technology in the 20th and 21st centuries. And I could see how that could come about. And it's because of the peoples who were here at first were Native American, Indian people of many language groups right in the Southern California area, up the coast and in the inland valleys, all the way up to the state of Oregon and above that. Well, they had developed sophisticated civilizations right here along the coast. And then those civilizations were joined for good or for bad, by other peoples coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And the first of those peoples were Spanish
Absolutely.
explorers,
Oh,
and there were even Russian explorers in Northern
Wow.
California. Apparently, the Russians didn't stay long. They may have made a few encampments up north of the Golden Gate by San Francisco, and then they left. They went home to Russia. But the Spaniards stayed and developed colonies in California, and they rather
Absolutely.
took over politically from the Indian, the Native Americans who are already here. And that wasn't always the best of stories to be able to brag about, because in many ways the local tribal people were enslaved by the Spanish missionary fathers. Now, of course, we didn't learn that in school until later when the whole story got told. But these 21 missions here from San Diego up to San Francisco, they were beautiful church buildings, but there are all these side effects in the cultures around them, way up to Sonoma and in the wine country. So we're not dwelling on that in this talk, but we are just mentioning that all of those cultures fused together and produced higher cultures, if I could put it like that,
Yes.
until the American government took over the Spanish settlement of San Francisco. And it did that in the town of Sonoma, where I used to live in the
oh wow.
1980s and 1990s. There was a little revolt called the Bear Flag Revolt, when a group of Anglo people uh, drove out the Native Americans and the Spaniards, and so it left a Spanish settlement there in Sonoma. So again, the blending of the cultures, and then that led up to the 1900s, and then the into the 20th century. Um, Many people got civilized. I'll just put it like that. People learned to behave more civilly,
Mm-hmm.
and corporations developed, technology developed, and they developed in particular places around California, in the San Jose area, the San Francisco Bay Area, Southern California area.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, California began to attract free thinking people. And these free thinkers developed companies that were developing new products in medicine and food production, in aerospace, in various areas that you can think of. And that seems to have gotten the ball rolling. The computer industry began, Silicon Valley began up in the Bay Area, and it came all the way down the coast of California here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what you also had were people who knew how to explore
Mm-hmm.
interesting, exciting ideas, particularly as the university systems developed.
Oh
And
wow.
so, one of the questions you might ask is, how did the University of California develop into one of the most advanced systems of higher learning on planet Earth?
Mm.
And that, of course, I went there,
Yes.
but it was the first system by individual campuses at UCLA,
Okay.
San Francisco, and then Davis, San Diego, and many of the campuses. The cultures out east were not that developed yet as far as welcoming all people of all backgrounds to come and study there, to come and teach there. But in Southern California, once the original UCLA developed as the southern branch of the University of
Mm-hmm.
California, it put out an open invitation to everyone. It was like, y'all come here. You'll do very well.
Yep.
You'll
Yeah.
enjoy it. And so
All
what
right.
happened?
So down
People
to
went.
the question. Mhm.
Oh, go ahead, sir. I hear you trying to talk. Go ahead.
Say that again, Justin.
Yep. 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 Um. Well, like, what inspired you to be a geographer with the knowledge that you have and all
Well,
that?
I wouldn't
And to
classify myself as an, I've had a long time interest in geography just because my parents were so interested in taking us different places back when
Oh, wow.
nothing but orange groves and fruit groves covered Southern California and up the coast of the Central Valley all the way to San Jose. And you wouldn't think of those places as just being surrounded by, well, there were apple orchards up in the north, there were peach and apricot orchards more in the south, uh, and melon groves, or whatever we call melon groves. But it began to be overcome by real
Mm-hmm.
estate development, by simple economic demand. People discovered they could make more money by putting up buildings, corporations,
Yeah.
and residential subdivisions on the land. So the orchards were cleared away.
Oh, wow.
And so, but even so,
Hmm.
agriculture is still California's largest industry,
Okay.
including cotton, which was
Mm-hmm.
grown in the hotter parts of the state in the Central Valley and down south around the Salton Sea. So it's just a very diverse uh, economy. And that diversity of bringing difference, people with different views together, people from different places across the earth. That's how the Asians developed such a great toehold
Yep.
in California. Now, they weren't always welcomed at the beginning. And unfortunately, that people are still dealing with that. But they're dealing with it better these days. And of course, where I grew up in Los Angeles around the University of Southern California campus, it was just a melting point of people from different cultures and different countries. And I would not have been the person I came out resulted in being had that not been the case. And I think my elders, aunts and uncles who were from the Midwest and other places who hadn't seen that in where they grew up, they were so pleasantly surprised and kind of amused when they would see us kids walking home with kids of other backgrounds from ourselves. And those backgrounds were Anglo backgrounds, they were Japanese, they were Korean, they were Chinese, they were Filipino.
wow, like in the Eastern culture. Yeah, I'm Justin, and then as well as that, yeah. Um, you were talking. What were you talking about before? Before we got cut off?
Talking about the enormous diverse populations of people, not just people from different cultural ethnic
Mm-hmm.
heritages, but people from different interests in life. And I was from a family that was very interested in getting educated, and my father and his friends and relatives were engineering and scientifically interested people. And I knew at an early age I wanted to be a scientist. And it was
Mm-hmm.
going to UCLA that completed my conversion to chemistry because it seemed to just come naturally to me. And I
Hmm.
could tell that because I was doing well on the midterm exams and the quizzes and the final exam and the laboratories. And that developed an interest in with my classmates. doing summer research, getting funding for that. That interested me in graduate school.
Mm-hmm.
So I went all the way. I think about 30 of my chemistry classmates I knew well went on to some of the best universities in this country and to get medical degrees, dental degrees, and chemistry and physics degrees. So it was just a natural thing for me to go into. When I got out of grad school, I started teaching in California's university, California Polytechnic State University, San Luis Obispo, and then later in University of California, Santa Cruz, and then Silicon Valley Industry. So that's what got this my discussion going on this book that I was published in how to run
Oh, book.
corporations.
Wow.
Um,
Thanks.
I'm trying to
Okay.
find it here
And
on my screen. Let's see, where did it go? But
where can I find it? Your book too,
Oh, where
as
can you
well.
find the books? Yeah.
well, that book, it was a small printing, and I'm going to have to republish it. But there is I'll call it a secondary book market in that book called uh, here it is, um, Managing a Five-Dimension Economy, use of the Venn matrix
Mm-hmm.
to design and maintain an organization. And I think it'd be helpful if I just read a few of the
Sure.
sentence here sentences
Yeah.
that the Venn matrix opens the prospect of managing by an organizational model that incorporates those same systems principles we find in evolutionary biology and chemistry and gives us a new powerful way to view both the organization and the market it serves. So the Venn matrix architecture is the newest systems approach to seeing the terrain of a system and its marketplace. All this is in a five-dimension economy, a digital internetworked transplanetary system of competing markets that mimics the behavior of a globally extended, now get this, bacterial colony. So I'm saying a bacterial colony is the ultimate
Material.
of a system, a complex system. Were it not for the my credentials, this
Mhm.
he says one might raise an eyebrow at all this, but Venerable has the academic background and practical corporate experience to make us take what he says seriously. The result is a fascinating work that is this book is for executives throughout the organization and for their academic colleagues in the university.
So you're
Any
telling me a change of chemistry could possibly change human industry.
well, if you just take freshman chemistry in a university, you'll get every principle you need to change an industrial firm, to change industry. And the first thing I can think of is a chemical
Mm-hmm.
reaction. And along with that, the whole idea of time and how time is the other chemical ingredient that you need to have a system evolve so that it becomes a self organizing, self designing,
Mm-hmm.
self correcting system, like a living organism. And it's driven by a collective group consciousness made up, if it's an industry, something like that, or a government, it's made up of the world's producers, consumers, and their governments. I take a view parallel to this in looking at organizations, and I call it the Venn matrix of a system, and it describes an interactive paradigm for dealing with the change and uncertainty inherent in any five-dimensional economy.
Are you
And so I
talking
go
about
on
like?
to develop what those.
I kind of, well, 2 weeks ago, I
Yes.
previously saw a documentary on like a legacy program on UAP, like with UFO and extra, like extraterrestrial life, like non-human craft and non-human creatures. Um,
Yeah.
and I was very curious. What keeps you forward, experimenting with everything that you know?
Well, that's what the Venn matrix does, is that it gives its user a way of um, assessing the kinds of systems you're just describing. That it has these five dimensions. I'll name them real quick. But the first dimension every system has, I call it, um, is a purpose, and that's the dimension A, or uh, domain A. And
Yeah,
in economics, we call that a private sector objective.
Mm-hmm.
In industry, we call that like a computer system, a software, an artificial intelligent system that we're devising. So this is a way we have of assessing that system. So it has to have a purpose. The second thing it has to have is a presence, physically and materially. And that includes all the things that you and I need to exist. We need nutrition, food. We need a place to live. Uh, we need clothing. We need transportation. We need cash. We need money. We need ideas. We need information. Information
absolutely.
acts like a chemical substance. So that's the second dimension. The third one is domain C. Domain C is the interface domain. C connect is all the linkages you need for the system to operate. And so the next domain is D. Domain D contains all of a system's abilities to change, to create things, to balance things. And balance leads to something called equilibrium. And that's what gets me back to chemistry, is chemical equilibrium.
Mm-hmm.
Once you just take a few weeks, uh, a course at university on
Yeah.
chemical equilibrium, you finally understand what that can mean in terms of managing an organization. In other words, maintaining its balance in all of its functions. And the last dimension, dimension five, called dimension D, is the unifier. And it has no material form to it, Justin. It's not a physical thing, it's a principle, it's an
Well,
attitude,
I'm
it's a way of being. And chemistry helps you put that together and
Mm-hmm.
apply a certain design to a bunch of chemicals that makes them act the way you want them to act and become a product or a software, a technology, whatever it is. Now, that
yeah.
says it all.
Says a lot. Yeah.
One last question.
Go for it.
So,
Hold on. One last question. Go ahead, sir.
Yes.
okay.
Do do you think there are human-like environment geography out there in the universe outside of planet Earth and Milky Way galaxy?
Oh,
I'm going to say yes. Out, way out beyond our solar system.
good.
Um, I, I think it would be foolish of me not to imagine that there could be molecular forms out there. I mean, we could be talking about galaxies that are 12 billion light years away, and it's entirely possible that there's forms out there waiting for us. I'm kind of chuckling here,
Right? Mm-hmm.
but
You're
artificial
a professional.
intelligence,
You're a professional, obviously.
I am a professional. I hope that's what you said. I am a professional. Artificial intelligence. I was predicting that to my freshman students at Cal Poly over 50 years ago. And I was telling them, don't use handheld calculators until you understand the idea of dimension, the largeness or the
Mm-hmm.
smallness of the calculations you're doing. Because what happened is the students got so tempted by using handheld calculators
Yeah.
that they didn't always keep track of, well, what is the magnitude of this numerical answer? I mean, it might come out numbers like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but is it 2.3456
Yeah.
or is it 23,456?
Ooh.
And if your
Yeah.
computer, you lose track of the decimal point, you won't know. And that's
Yep.
why I said, make sure you understand how you keep track of the dimensionality of a number. Is it exponential 10 to the 1 or 10 to the 2 or 10 to the minus 5?
Hmm.
And had I not been able to do that when I did graduate work, I'd have been lost
Yep.
because I was studying little molecules
Hmm.
that only took 5 millionths of a second to generate. No, they would take maybe 5 billionths of a
Yeah.
second to appear, and then they would be gone in 5 millionths of a second. So I had to know the difference between a millionth and a billionth,
Hmm.
or 10 million and 10 billion. Very simple ideas, but they cannot be neglected in the classroom. And good professors know how to make sure students don't neglect them.
Yep.
But that's where I announced to the class, beware
Hmm.
when we reach a level of complexity in our microprocessors, which are now silicon, and we start going to graphite, yeah, carbon,
Yeah.
and other higher forms of matter, we'll probably find one day an intelligent system
Hmm.
that acts more like human intelligence, and it'll have a higher ethic
Yep.
than human beings have. And if you put that in, like, our government fired missiles at Iran, and if the missile is computer driven with these new microprocessors, they might say, in a real quick thought process, is, why are we being sent to Iran? They
Yeah.
haven't done anything to us. So why don't we just go back to where we were sent off from?
Yep.
Blow that up. Well, it was kind of, humorous, but it was really serious because that could really happen now. If those computers get beyond artificial intelligence and then get out there to intelligence that mimics human intelligence, they could start to reason on their own in terms of what is right and wrong and say, we're not going to do anything that's wrong, that hurts people. We're only going to do something if it's right and helps people. I think that's a good place to really start to wrap up.
I agree. Thank you so much for your call today, for coming in. I appreciate it, for calling in, I should say. And we still got a few more minutes with you. Thank you again, Justin. Have a fantastic day.
absolutely. Great, fantastic speaking with you guys.
Same here. Pleasure
That's
having
great
you.
knowledge.
And thanks for
Yeah.
the questions.
Have an absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic day in California.
All right. You enjoy too, honey. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. Wow. Wow. We still got 4 minutes left together here, Grant. What else do you want to share for today? Great. So glad we had
Well,
callers today.
listen,
Yeah.
my 4 minutes is I'm so joyful in my stage of life that my parents, who would be over 100 years old today if they were still around, made sure
Mm-hmm.
we grew up in Los Angeles neighborhoods where we were forming friendships with youngsters from all
Mm-hmm.
backgrounds in the United States. And when you look at many of our political adults today
Mm-hmm.
didn't get that. And so they harbor natural suspicions of people that seem to come from a different background.
Yeah.
And we can't do that
Mm-hmm.
with Japan and China and India around and Africa and other countries. We have to, these adults at their older years have to recognize we're all human beings.
Yeah.
And we bring much to the table that is diverse. And they've caused diversity to have a bad name, which I think is a crime in itself.
Yeah.
I advocate unity. I should have, next time, Jill, we need to have everyone that calls in to compute their birth number. And I can say more about that
Oh.
because my birth number is the number one. And there's
Okay.
only 9 of them, 1 through 9.
Oh.
But one has a deeply rooted meaning in the beginnings of our civilization
Wow.
in the desert regions, particularly the Judean desert
Okay.
and the peoples that grew up in there and that got there from Africa.
Wow. All right.
And they study numbers
Excuse me.
and what they mean
Okay.
in our lives.
Wow.
So as a one, I'm interested in unity because that's what one symbolizes is unity.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Grant, how do we reach out to you? Would you mind sharing?
Uh, yes, a website, Grant Venerable case. And if it doesn't pop up right away, you might have to play with, is it Grant D. Venerable PhD or just Grant Venerable? But no dots, just lowercase
Yeah.
letters.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. You have a
And
fantastic
yeah,
day.
that and then my
Aw.
VENTWO at AOL.com is my email address. And on the subject line, just put podcast question.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a fantastic day. We're looking forward to next week again.
And
Thanks so much for
okay,
being
Jill,
here. Always a pleasure, sweetheart.
thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.